Hey everybody, thanks for watching Capsule to Cone. I'm Matt McQueen, and today we've got a really exciting video for you that I have wanted to work on for a long time. I bought this Clark Technic KT76 compressor on a Black Friday sale, and I have wanted to do a shootout with this compressor with a much more expensive, very nice sounding Purple Audio MC77. Both of these compressors are based on a, Clark Technic says that their compressor is based on a Rev D or Rev E URI 1176. Purple's website is going to tell you that it's based on a Rev E. I've used the Purple now for a couple of years, and most of my vocals get tracked through the Purple. I track bass guitar through the Purple. It's a wonderful sounding compressor. I've done room mics through it. And so today we're going to look at a song from the band Robinson Park out of Knoxville, Tennessee, and we're going to look at the vocal and do a couple of different settings with that, because to me that's kind of the most important thing that I want to hear from an 1176. Then we're going to look at the bass guitar through both of them, and we're going to look at a room mic. The song was tracked live, and so it's going to be really cool. We're going to listen to the guitar solo section, and you'll get to hear some of the bass and some of the guitar and the drums hitting the compressor and what the compressor does to it. The Clark Technic is gonna surprise some people. It's a really, really cool sounding compressor, and it does wonderful at its price point. I was really blown away by it when I filmed the shootout. So the other cool thing that we're going to do is that we're gonna give this compressor away. So watch the shootout, listen to your own opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong below in the comments. I don't care, but you should subscribe. You should hit the bell notification, because we're going to do a couple of more giveaways like this in the future. And you can enter to win this compressor. We're going to ship it worldwide. Whoever wins will get it and get to play with it in their studio. So, all right, let's jump into Pro Tools and let's watch the shootout. So we're going to jump into the song. Again, it's by the band Robinson Park from Knoxville, Tennessee. And we're going to start with the vocals and listen to both of these compressors. So just really briefly, how I have this hooked up is we're running through my Antelope Orion converters, and we are using a hardware insert in Pro Tools, and hardware insert 3 is the Purple, and hardware insert 4 is the Clark Technic. So we're going to listen to a little bit of the song first, and I have the Clark Technic compressor turned off. This is the Purple, but we'll just listen to the song starting at verse 1.
Hesitation in my voice reminds me that I can't let go. All these memories fill my mind of your heart beating against mine. I don't know how to get back on my feet, shake the dust off, get out of here.
All right, so let's go ahead and listen to this section of the pre-chorus. I'm just going to loop it. And the settings that we have on both compressors are, we've got a 4:1 ratio. I've basically matched the input and output. One of the things that you'll note through this whole demonstration is that the level settings are not the same between both compressors, but I've used the meter, and then I've used my meters in Pro Tools to try to match these as closely as possible, and then also use my ears to some extent. So it's not incredibly scientific, but even if you had two compressors of the same model, two Silverface URIs, they would sound slightly different and probably need a degree of calibration if they both had some age on them to make the input and the output knobs function identically. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm really just going for the sound, and does it sound like an 1176? So let's go ahead and listen to this.
Of your heart beating against mine, I don't know how to get back on my feet, shake the dust off, get out of here.
All right, and now let's listen to them soloed. Purple first.
Of your heart beating against mine, I don't know how to get back on my feet, shake the dust off, and get out of here, 'cause
So that's really nice. That's a good example of some nice transparent compression for the most part. We're getting roughly 7-ish dB of compression from start to finish. It's not very aggressive, but they both are doing kind of one of the things that people like to use 1176 for, and just smoothing out the vocal. All right, so I've got both compressors set at 20 to 1 now, and a much faster attack still. The release is set all the way fast, and we're going to listen to a more aggressive sounding version of this style of compression. You're going to hear, we track these vocals in an open room, and so you're going to hear some of the ambience of the room coming into these vocals when I solo it, and of course it's grabbing everything and really squashing it down, but they both still sound really smooth. So let's listen to it in the track first, and then we'll listen to them soloed.
Of your heart beating against mine, I don't know how to get back on my feet, shake the dust off and get out of here, 'cause
and soloed, purple first.
Of your heart beating against mine, I don't know how to get back on my feet, shake the dust off and get out of here, 'cause
Yeah, they both sound really, really good. The one thing that I haven't done yet is really try to drive the input and maybe get it just a little bit crunchy, get some character, get some harmonics. So let me try to set the compressors up for that. Okay, now we have the input of both compressors turned all the way up. They're both driving hard, and we have all buttons in on both compressors. Let's just listen to what that sounds like. Super extreme setting. It's gonna pump and breathe, and you're gonna almost, the breaths between the phrases are almost gonna sound like sucking noises, but let's listen to what that sounds like.
Of your heart beating against mine, I don't know how to get back on my feet, shake the dust off and get out of here, 'cause
You really hear the room mic on both of those tracks when he pulls off of the microphone, but when he leans in, it sounds really cool. Let's listen to him in solo.
Of your heart beating against mine, I don't know how to get back on my feet, shake the dust off and get out of here, 'cause
So they both have a little bit of distortion and a little bit of character, but I think the purple to me is a lot more pleasing. They both, again, sound like an 1176 doing the all buttons in, just crushing a vocal thing, but to my ears, I'm hearing something from the purple that just sounds a little bit smoother, even when it's adding some of that harmonic distortion and stuff like that. But you still get some of that character out of the KT76. So I think, at least at this part of the experiment, I think for vocals, you could buy the KT76 and get 1176 style compression for $400. So let's go on, let's move on, and let's see what it sounds like on a bass. All right, moving on to bass, we're going to look at this guitar solo section, which is a really fun part in this song. And I have both compressors set up at an 8 to 1 ratio, and I've got the attack at noon, and the release is at probably about 3 o'clock in the afternoon if you're looking at the dial like it's a clock. So medium fast attack and pretty fast release for an 1176. So let's go ahead and let's listen to the purple first. We'll listen to this section with everything in, and then I'll solo the basses up. They both sound really good. I'm not driving the 1176 very hard. The distortion that you're hearing is coming from the mic preamp that we captured it with. We're getting a little bit of just kind of character on there, but they both sound really good. They're leveling the bass out. They're grabbing some of those transients and knocking them down a little bit and just holding the bass together. This is kind of like my favorite starting setting for an 1176 on a bass guitar. When I'm mixing, I'm almost always taking one of my 2 or 3 bass sources and throwing an 1176 on there and kind of starting with this setting and getting around 3 to 5 dB of gain reduction. I'm probably getting a little over 5 on these, but again, they both sound really, really good. So let's move on and let's go listen to a room mic now. Okay, we're going to listen to this same guitar solo section, and we're going to listen to these 2 room mics. This is an SE Electronics Voodoo ribbon microphone, and I have both of the compressors set at a 20-to-1 ratio, and I have slowed the attack time down a little bit, and then the release is still set all the way fast on both of the compressors. So we're getting around 10 to 12 dB of gain reduction. And what's really cool is we tracked this whole song live, and so you're gonna not hear just drums in the room mic, but you're gonna hear the guitar playing the solo, you're gonna hear some of the bass, and let's go ahead and compare and see what that does. Let's go ahead and listen to it in the mix too. Get a little bit of a sense of what's going on with these guys in the mix. I'll mute one of them, and I'm going to pull them down about 4 or 5 dB. I still want to be able to hear them and hear how they're affecting the mix, but I don't want it to be all room mic even for the demo. So let's just check it out. I think they sound really, really similar. There's a couple of times where I switched, and if you saw me leaning into the speakers, I feel like I hear just a little more low end, but it could just be I'm switching at these sections where the bass player is really digging in. But I felt like I was hearing a little bit more low end out of the purple. The one thing I will say, to me, the cymbals sound less kind of like splatty and sibilant in the purple than they do the KT76. But again, I'm just like, I think the KT76 is really good for $400. If you're the kind of guy that is looking to, you know, get his first piece of outboard gear and add it to your rig, your recording rig, you want to be able to track with a little bit of compression, I think it's a great place to start. It's, you know, low cost entry point. You're getting some outboard gear. You've got some knobs to turn. You've got that whole tactile thing that is great, especially when you're tracking a band. You can start to learn about what it's like to commit to sounds, and you're not spending a ton of money. If you're at a point in your career where you're a full-time professional, or you're almost about to cross over that threshold and you've already got a few pieces of outboard gear, I don't know that this is for you. It could be if you needed, you know, you've already got an 1176 that's maybe a little bit nicer one like the purple. It could be for you, but it's definitely not going to have, it has a little bit more mojo. The purple's got some more mojo. There's just small little things that, you know, especially if you're talking about a song that's got 40 tracks, that those little differences, the cymbals sounding a little bit prettier, the room mic seeming like it might have a little bit more low end, the distortion and saturation from the compressor circuit on the vocal track. Those things add up. They're subtle differences, but at the end of the day, when you've tracked a song that has 40 tracks and you've used an 1176 on several of them, those kind of things, that little bit of character adds up, and it makes all the difference. Also, if you're a professional and you're looking for a compressor that's going to give you professional features, the Purple has features that the KT76 just cannot include at its price point. For example, you can take the attack knob and you can turn it all the way down, and there's a physical click on the front of the Purple that lets you disengage the compressor circuit but keep the gain from the input and the output. So if you want to drive the compressor hard without actually compressing the signal and get some saturation and some distortion, add some character to whatever it is you're tracking without compression, you could do that on the Purple. The Purple has insert points on the back that are switchable. The Purple also has the ability to be linked to a second compressor for stereo operation. It also has grounding terminals on the back of it where in a very professional environment you can separate the audio ground from the main building ground, and it's got 2 binding posts on the back of that. So it's, even though sonically, yes, there are some very striking similarities and one could be just as useful as the other. You could make an argument for that. The Purple is far and away the more professional option with a professional feature set, and I think sonically it offers enough of a difference that for someone who is making their living in a professional environment like this, that's the one that you should want. But there is certainly nothing wrong with the Clark Technic KT76. It sounds like an 1176. It will give you the experience of having hardware, and you'll have a cool VU meter to add to your studio. I've been Matt. Thanks for watching Capsule to Cone. We are going to give away this KT76. So there's a link below in the description. Thank you for watching the video. Follow that link and go and get this KT76. Try to win it. So sign-ups are free. We're going to ship anywhere in the world. Again, thank you for watching. I'll talk to you next time.